Delete, 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 delete. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is your WWE Armageddon 2016, or as WWE like to refer it as, Roadblock End of the Line 2016 preview and prediction show. I'm your host, LK, joined by my partner in crime, Sammy. How you doing tonight, Sammy?
Fucking weird as shit after that total nonstop deletion review. That was a like, I remembered it going into that. I was like, yeah, that was really weird. And then when we started talking about it, I'm like, no, that was so much more fucking weird than I remember it being.
I'm speechless to this day, and I hope you enjoyed the intro. My fingernail hurts from clicking the fucking button too much. Anyway, I have the Wikipedia card in front of me, so if it's wrong, guess who's to blame? Wikipedia, so don't blame me. We're going to get straight into this. And before we do that, Sammy, do you think this show will be any good?
This show has potential. Yeah. I really haven't had a chance to look at the card, but there's one thing that is extremely likely to happen. And if that one thing happens, this whole show can be a complete loss. Like, as per usual, there can be some really good wrestling, but there is just one thing, and we'll get there, that I'm horrified of it happening. I genuinely don't know. I would be more surprised if it was good than it would if it'd be bad. And y'all know me, I'm extremely optimistic when it comes to pay-per-views and Raw and such. I usually even still enjoy them, even if not everything I like happens, but I'm having a hard time with this one.
You know what? I'm looking at the card. There's a few things that could... I mean, looking at it, there's not really a bad match on the show, minus the pre-show match, but thankfully I think I'll be at work when the pre-show match happens. But with that being said, we have Big Cass versus Rusev in our kickoff match or pre-show. What the fuck they want to call it these days?
Is that the pre-show match?
Yeah. Now this for me just rattled my brain because how much time and effort they've put into building this rivalry only to throw it away on the pre-show seems pretty worthless to me.
They've done this several times before. Like, at least there's a story with the pre-show match, where in past it's literally, oh, this person did something to that person that week, so we can have a pre-show match. At least there's a story behind it. And it was a decently well-told story. It's not my favorite in the world, but I would give it that. But I still think you're kind of wasting it putting it on the pre-show match. To me, a pre-show match needs to be new talent, enhancement talent, NXT talent, something like that. Cruiserweights, something like that.
We'll probably get an added cruiserweight match as well, just for the sake of it. But yeah. I just feel bad for Rusev. So Rusev goes for this streak where, if you take your mind back to July, August of this year, he was one of the top heels on Raw after the draft. He then has his feud with Reigns, and obviously Reigns takes his belt and does nothing with it. I think he's defended it twice. So he doesn't need that belt, and he's fucking wrestling on Sunday for the Universal title, so he don't need the belt. He's in this feud with Cass. Cass has to get the receipt. Like, if you look at it from a storytelling point of view, Cass has to be, even though, okay, Cass is the heel in this. Rusev is...
In a weird way, yeah.
Rusev is the heel for protecting his wife, for sticking up for it. If that was you, okay, and you were married, and you saw another man and a girl, you're going to kick the shit out of that guy, correct? That's the good...
Oh, yeah.
That's the good human being thing to do. And looking at this, it just rattles my brain. I don't even think they realized that they accidentally did that. But with Cass and Rusev, so Cass is mad at Rusev for defending his wife, and I think they just got to be. I think they got to be really careful with how they promote this. That's all. They should be careful with promoting this. But I think Cass will get the win, and I just feel bad for Rusev because I can see Cass getting the win and then having a big Cass hype heading into the Rumble. I can see, he's 7 foot tall, you can't eliminate me, etc. I can see Cass. And this show, they called it Roadblock. It's like, I'm calling it Armageddon because I hate the name Roadblock. Like, every single time we get one of these stupid names, I'm going to call it a old school pay-per-view. So we're in December, so we call it Armageddon. So this is like the No Way Out-ish of Royal Rumble. So when you look at these matches, you have to think, like, we could be looking at a potential Rumble winner here. And more importantly than that, the shows after Roadblock getting into Rumble, I don't want to just see people announced. I want to see qualifying matches for the Rumble. I want to see legit hype. And I'm going to ask you some questions later on in the show, which I got written down here, that really will just, like, this show is just extremely unpredictable, but not in a good way. Like, Rusev, Cass. If Rusev loses, he's in the shits. If Cass loses, he looks like an imbecile. There is no middle ground here. And like literally I'm picturing loads of dusty, dodgy as fuck finishes on this show.
Yeah, there could be a lot of dusty finishes.
There is literally one match where I have the clear winner. Everything else, it struggles. It really fucking struggles my mind. So, with that out of the way, what's your predictions, Rusev or Cass? I go Rusev. Not Rusev, sorry, Big Cass. I go Big Cass.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, sorry, that was work. Probably gonna have to be Big Cass because the story, like, there's a story there, and the story isn't poorly told. It's poorly laid out because again, Rusev looks like a heel. It looks, but that's his wife. That's his real life wife. I would be pissed off too. And this week, because I actually listened to a lot of other podcasts. This week, Enzo Amore was on Sam Roberts' podcast, and he said, "Yeah, we actually had to be really careful with that because going into that scene in the hotel room, I was looking like the bad guy." So we had to try and do whatever we could to put sympathy on me somehow. And I was like, yeah, I can see that. It just...
Sorry to cut you off. Is this Imbo style, Sam Roberts? Isn't he going to be on the pre-show?
He is.
Now, not everyone here watches Sam Roberts. Is he a weekly... Does he do daily podcasts like we do?
He does a weekly podcast. He always does an interview, and then what he calls like the state of wrestling, which he just goes over whatever happened that week in WWE. And he's a really the reason I like his
I want to cut you off then.
Yeah, go ahead.
This man, you tell me, does 2 shows a week, and he gets to be on the pre-show.
Oh, he's been affiliated. He's been with WWE for a long time. He's been on their Talking Head shows a ton. He is one of the few people that WWE will let interview their talent after the whole CM Punk fiasco. So they really do trust him a lot. It's not just like, nah, random throwing out there. Like, he's done a lot of work for them.
Does he suck cock on it? Like, oh, like Vince, like I love you, all this shit.
No, he'll call it, like, he is a WWE fan. He makes no buts about that. He's a WWE guy, and he's more positive than a lot of people, but he'll call it like he sees it. And he's got issues with this, that, and the reason I like him is he's going to talk to people like a fan to fans. Does that make sense?
Oh,
like, he's not going to talk to you as a wrestler talking to he's going to, like, hey, I'm a fan, and I'm going to talk to you like a fan.
Okay, so he's not like some hotshot, like a professional, like, oh, hello, haven't seen you in a week, like, that sort of thing. He's like a professional. No. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I just don't like listening to other people because I feel that it sways my opinion. There's very few people like on. I've got downloaded on my Podbean app. I've got. Who have I got? I got Jericho's, which from your recommendations, which I haven't watched yet. I listened to the Taz show. I go through phases with that. I go through phases. I'll watch it every day for like a month, and then I'll go out of it, and I'll drop it, and then I'll go to somewhere else. Like last month, I went for a weird. 2 months ago, I went for a weird fucking Vince Russo phase. Like, please help me on that.
Oh Jesus! I don't listen to any podcasts that are review podcasts. Yeah. Sam Roberts does a review, but he's a fan talking to fans. So it's nothing that's going to sway my opinion. I mainly listen to him, Jericho, and Steve Austin for their interviews that they do. I want to hear them talking to other wrestlers about the business. That's what I enjoy.
He's the one this month because his Broken Skull Ranch has come to English TV.
Really?
They've got a really good time slot as well at 7 p.m. Really fucking awesome time slot. It does good numbers. I know when I'm at work and when I go on my break, usually about that time, so I usually do 4 to 11. I usually go break at 7. I always put it on, and it's always usually on when I walk in. Like, it's normally usually on. They do good numbers, hopefully, anyway. So I'm into the Steve Austin show, and I'm dating back. I'm in the middle of his question. He had a Q&A one, and I really enjoy it. He speaks like he does. He's the fucking man, but he doesn't talk like he is. He talks like a swig a drink for the working man. Like, he's just a down to earth guy. And I enjoy that. Anyway, back to our fucking preview. We have the New Day defending their tag titles against Cesaro and Sheamus. Apparently, I didn't watch the Tribute to the Troops because
Me either.
I just feel uncomfortable. Cesaro and Sheamus, I don't think they're going to win this. Okay, because everyone in their mind thinks, okay, New Day beat the record, now they need to drop the belts. They don't need the belts, they're going to drop it. So we have Cesaro and Sheamus go over. That's what everyone thinks. So WWE will do the opposite, which will be New Day to retain. They'll have a lengthy run, lose it at Mania to Enzo and Cass. Excuse me. Cesaro and Sheamus. Cesaro, build him to the fucking Rumble. Make this man a fucking contender for that Rumble. You
I agree.
must,
Like,
must do that. That reaction on Monday indicates that this guy is a fucking megastar. Put this man on a rocket, shoot him to the moon, get him over. Cesaro, Zayn, they should be the two guys that they are building, hyping for this Rumble. They are the two guys they must.
Yeah, there needs to be Cesaro section T-shirts, and the fact that there's not is dumb.
I think
Cesaro.
I think it's the red and white one.
But I don't think it's a Cesaro section, does it? I could be wrong.
I'm not sure. I didn't really look closely enough.
He's one of those guys that can do everything, and he makes it look so easy. I love Cesaro. Cesaro is fantastic. And like the three people I would build up going to the Rumble are him, Sami Zayn, and I'd actually build up Bray Wyatt. And then bring up that several years ago, Bray Wyatt almost won the Rumble and cleared out the ring on a couple of occasions. So there's some work to be done.
There is some work, but I just get scared because it's just this. Like you have like, oh, Kevin Owens title run. Oh, he's running to Roman Reigns. Like you just get scared because, this time last year, the product was bad, but I wasn't worried. Like heading into these shows, I'm not excited. I'm worried about how they're gonna fuck up this story. And that's I'm not worried about, the wrestling. I'm pretty sure the wrestling will be pretty damn good because the card's actually, New Day, Cesaro, Sheamus is never going to be a bad match. No. I'm just worried of how they're going to both teams are faces. Both teams are faces.
Both teams are faces. The fact that the club doesn't have the belt right now is a fucking travesty. And that makes no sense to me. They should have had it months ago. But for whatever reason, they have just delegated them to Jobberville. And that is I've said it before, I'll say it again. If I'm them, I'm just waiting for my contract to go up so I can go be on part of the Bullet Club again.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be. I just feel sorry for the guys. Speaking of feeling sorry for, Sami Zayn stuck with Braun Strowman in a singles match of a 10-minute time limit.
I think this could be good. I think this could be really good.
I think both of these men need protecting. Both of these need to be protected.
And this time limit's a good way of doing it.
Exactly. So the time limit, 10-minute time, but the way I've got it predicted is I have the Sasha Charlotte go time limit and the Strowman and Zayn, and I think that's a bit of an overkill with the drawing. You can't have two draws in one night.
The Sasha Charlotte thing will not be a draw. I almost guarantee it will not be a draw. Sasha Banks will win, which is going to set up the Bayley Sasha Banks rematch, and that's going to be your women's match at WrestleMania. But and I agree with you here, it is a little bit much. This will be a draw, I'm thinking, because it's a smart way to protect both guys. Because I actually think the world of Braun Strowman. I think I like him, and I think he has a lot of room to improve, but I mean that in a good way. I see potential in him and somebody that can be an awesome monster heel in the years to come and kind of take over Kane's spot and being just that unpredictable monster that if he shows up in the ring, you've got issues. And it builds up the underdog story for Sami Zayn, which is the best Sami Zayn there is.
I agree. I would have Zayn last the 10 minutes and then have Strowman after just punish him. Because Strowman has to look strong, but Zayn lasted that 10 minutes. He can come out the next match saying, hey, look, I lasted that 10 minutes. Okay, you said Mick, and this has pissed me off. Okay, now Mick Foley, it has been announced that he will no longer be on WWE programming until after Christmas, right in the middle of this really good program with Sami Zayn. That's out of order and downright disgusting. They need to follow up on this, and it pisses me off when people do that. Yes, he's earned the right for a fucking Christmas with his family, not in the middle of a high fucking profile feud with Sami Zayn, you stupid old prick.
Hopefully they have, and I completely understand because he likes to go be Santa Claus.
I don't give a fuck. Why did the writers start this program and build? If they knew,
they knew he was going to go. He's made it very apparent Christmas is hellaciously important to him. Hopefully they've maybe done some vignettes that they can play.
I pray they've done that, but that's given them far too much credit. They wouldn't do that. I mean, if he's at Roadblock. Say he's at Roadblock and he doesn't actually appear, he just does 2-3 weeks worth of vignettes, then I'll let them off. But that's putting faith in this creative team who fucking gave us all this shit to begin with.
Yeah, we'll just have to say. That's going to be time will tell kind of thing.
And it just worries me, and I just find it very annoying. But anyway, I think, again, time limit draw here. Strowman squashes Zayn. Then Zayn does the underdog saying, look, I lasted 10 minutes, and now I'll outlast 29 men and win the fucking Royal Rumble. Rich Swann.
That could be good.
It could be good. Then we have Rich Swann, TJ Perkins,
Why
versus
are you
Ryan.
hating on TJ Perkins all of a sudden?
His glasses annoy me. His walk annoys me. The way he chews gums annoys me. The arrogant look on his face annoys me. His wrestling annoys. I do not like TJ Perkins in any way, shape, or form. He is a babyface who I hate more than Roman Reigns. I would rather watch Roman Reigns than TJ suck my cock Perkins.
So you just want to see him as a heel, essentially?
No, I don't want to see him at all. Because if he was a heel,
he's hellaciously talented in the ring. I love watching him.
Do you know what? Because I hate him so much, I think him as a heel would really work because he doesn't need to do anything. He could just be the same because he's a dick. Like, he comes across, when I watch him on TV, oh, look at this arrogant arsehole. Like, if I was watching it with a non-hardcore fan, they'll be like, oh, who's that arsehole? Oh, he looks like a douche, doesn't he? With that stupid entrance music and that stupid power-up HP. Fuck off. Anyway, Rich Swann to retain because he's just won the belt.
More than likely, he's going to retain. I could also see them putting it back on either of the other two. And I don't hate TJ Perkins, but I actually really like TJ Perkins. His promo skills are terrible, but they can hide that. I really enjoy watching him, but more than likely they'll keep it on Rich Swann and then maybe build to the Rich Swann Cedric Alexander match, which will be awesome because if you watch the first episode of 205 Live, you saw Cedric Alexander got the biggest pop of anybody out there, and he's somebody that can really build a future around. And plus, it would be cool just to see two black guys going after the same belt. I can't say that I've seen that in a long time.
Oh, fuck knows when I saw that. Jeez. Anyway, 30-minute Iron Woman match for the Raw Women's title. Banks and Flair. I'm a bit like
I'm so fucking done and over this.
Yeah.
At this point in time, you have made history for history's sake so many times. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. And that's why SmackDown has the better product with a weaker roster. SmackDown's women's roster is, on paper, is so much weaker. And it is far superior because every woman has a story. It's well told. They had somebody that a year ago I thought was a piece of shit as their champion. And I'm over the moon about it. And Sasha Banks and Charlotte, who are two, I think, the greatest female wrestlers in the world, because they can't tell this fucking they just keep telling the same fucking story over and over. And I'm fucking sick of it. I'm done. Like if I never see another Charlotte Banks Sasha match, I'll be happy.
I said this on a show about 2 months ago now. What they're doing is they're putting gimmicks on a spinning wheel and they're just going like that, vroom, 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 and it stopped at Iron Man. Look, it stopped at Iron Man this week. It'll be a fucking ladder match next week. The week after that will be a fucking bikini contest. We'll be the Women's Revolution. Fuck off. Like, no, you're just doing it. Like, literally, this has been going on since before SummerSlam, which was about 6 months ago.
This has been going on since WrestleMania.
And it's not like we're getting, different matches. We're getting them on Raw as well as pay-per-views.
We have seen them be in 6 title matches now?
In a row on pay-per-view.
On a row on pay-per-view. And so help me God if this is the main event.
I don't want this. Should not be the main event. And I'm not sexist in any way, shape, or form. I just do not want this to be the main event.
Your universal title is the most important thing. That's what needs. And not to discredit these two ladies. I think they're the most talented women in the world, and they can tell a good story, and they're great in the ring. But they've told the same fucking story for almost a year. We get it. Oh, you're making history. Like, there becomes a point where it's so conceited, we're like, you're making history. That, like, you don't have to tell us. Several weeks ago, for 2 weeks in a row, if I'm not mistaken, or at least 2 weeks, ladies were the opening segment of SmackDown in good segments that were well written between Becky Lynch and what's her name, Alexa Bliss. That's history. They didn't say we're making history. We're making history. They just told a really good match. They told a really good story and had a good match. And I'm so fucking over this story. My God, can they end it?
This is worse than John Cena versus Randy Orton. I'm putting out there. I think it's a bit worse than Cena or Orton. Not the match quality. It's just the amount of time. Like, this is going to be like... I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to do the Rock Austin, the Cena Orton kind of thing with these women. But by doing it in... These Cena and Orton was spread out.
Yeah.
This is just boom,
exactly.
boom. It's like, I do not give a fuck anymore.
Rock and Stone Cold headlined 3 WrestleManias. That means there's at least 3 years apart, and I think that's over a course of 5 or 6 years. That's how long it took to tell that story. They were telling that same amount of story in like 6 months.
It's a joke. The thing is now, what's going to happen is every time in the future, like Charlotte and Banks are in the ring, it's not going to be, oh my God, this is amazing. It's, oh, not again. Not again.
Yeah.
And that's not the thing. And it should be special. And Raw is so bad at telling the story with the women. It's making me not like Sasha Banks. It's making me not like Charlotte. And because the way
it's making me not give a shit.
And if I remember the pay-per-view before this, the Raw one, Charlotte attacked Bayley. Why the fuck is it? So Bayley just, I'll take it. I'll just take it on the chin. Like, no, she should be pissed off.
I don't. Raw, again, and I actually like this last episode of Raw, but just in general, it got actually really, most of the reviews for it were positive across the board, but I just don't care. For their women, they're like, oh, we're making history, but they're still throwing them to the wayside. That they're putting a shiny dress on them and that we're making history, and then just telling the same story over and over with the same 2 people. SmackDown, love them or hate them. Like, I don't like all the women that are on there, but they're telling that joke. Like, telling that joke. They're telling that story that their women are involved in multiple important stories.
I guess that. This is a fucking fact. And then we have Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, because we need something for these 2 men to do.
This will be a good match.
I think it'll be a really good match.
But Rollins will win.
Rollins will win, should win. And then, maybe a Triple H involved, or the 3 H's, is Broken Matt, how I'd like to call him.
The man of 3 H's.
The man of 3 H's can get involved here, and we could start. I don't know what they're going to do. Either Triple H versus Rollins at Rumble or Mania. I see it, and I want it at Mania. Have Triple H cost Seth Rollins the Royal Rumble match, and then have Seth, look, I've had you cost me too much now. I want you at Mania. Boom. I understand they want to sell tickets. You've got Goldberg. You've got Brock Lesnar. The brand Royal Rumble will sell that building out. You don't need to waste your Triple H versus Seth Rollins, which is a money feud just on that. And I swear to God, if Rollins doesn't go over, I'm done. I'm just done. WWE really wants us to carry on watching, because we said if Zack Ryder wins the tag team titles, then we'll quit. And then 5 minutes later, WWE.com.
I'm very certain he was completely healthy, and he was going to the back, and someone just, Tanya Harding, just popped him in the kneecap with a fucking lead pipe. Oh no, he's injured now.
Matt Hardy's there with his broken shoulder. Delete. Delete. So I think it'd be a good match. Just who gives a fuck, really.
I mean, it's a completely throwaway match. It'll be good.
And before we get to the main event, okay, well, obviously it's Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Universal title. But if you look up and down this show, okay, we usually on these shows, we give you, okay, he's going to win because, she's going to win because, or they're going to win because. Here, the kickoff match, we didn't know who's going to win, Cass and Rusev. Tag title match, we didn't know who's going to win. Braun Strowman, Zayn, we think would be a draw. Triple threat, we said either one. Banks and Flair, you think Banks, I think draw. Jericho Rollins, okay, we thought Rollins. Kevin Owens and Reigns, we don't. That's like 5 out of 7 matches. We actually have zero idea about the outcome. Lots of people on one hand like, oh, that's unpredictability. That's what I love. On the other hand, unpredictability sometimes means poor storytelling and just booking it on the fly.
Lucha Underground is unpredictable because they keep you on the edge of your seat and what's going to happen week to week. They give you just enough to want to watch next week. Okay, it's like, oh, what's that? Oh, I wonder who's going to win this. Oh, I wonder who's going to win that match to get this. Lucha Underground is masterful at that. So I don't know who's going to win the match because it's open. Like it's a mystery, and I enjoy that. Whereas here is, I don't know who's going to win that match because I'm worried about what's going to happen.
Like Owens Reigns, and I was thinking, like, if Owens wins, who's the next challenger? You know, that's what worries me. Like, looking at this, like, are we going to get Rollins and Owens again? Like, this beginning, the Charlotte Banks, like that, okay, that's one time too many. But if Reigns wins, who does Reigns face? Does he face a Roll? Does he face an Owens, a rematch?
Here's what I'm thinking is going to happen. At all the house shows, Roman's been going over on Owens every night. I am afraid they're going to put this belt back on Roman Reigns. Which, at this point in time, even though I don't hate on Roman Reigns, I actually think he's a really talented guy. If they put the belt back on Roman Reigns, they are signing his death warrant. It's ball game after that. The only way they could save it is if he gets the belt and instantly turns heel.
They won't do that. And the thing
But
is,
they're not gonna. They're not gonna. You know they're not. That's the only way they can save it. I think they're gonna put the belt on him. They'll do an Owens rematch, and then we'll find somebody for fucking, well, I don't know, throw some darts at a board. That's who's gonna wrestle Roman Reigns at Mania. Because I remember you talked about them phasing out the U.S. title, especially with the fucking UK title coming in now. More than phasing it out, I think they'll just put both on Roman Reigns and just combine them.
I'm thinking Cesaro, you want Reigns as your heel. Like, you could even tell this story. So you have Reigns win here, and we sacrifice Owens' title reign, okay? And it will be a thing. And I swear to God, if they bury Kevin Owens from out here, which is my concern is Reigns will win, Owens will lose his rematch the next night on Raw, and it'll be nothing. That worries me.
And then he goes back down to the mid-card. Their best villain on their show, the guy that is selling tons of merch, the guys that people love to hate. By the way, I'm going to bring this up because this is a good time as I need to bring it up. Did you see the story about the lady that took her son to a house show and like fucking Kevin Owens like bitched out her son and then she got super butthurt about it?
Yeah, she's just doing that to get free merch.
She is. If I'm Kevin Owens, I bring that shit up on air. I do. Like, this lady said this, that, and another. But in case you didn't know this, I don't give a fuck what you have to think. And your ugly ass little son can go away with you. I don't want you to pull for me because I don't want losers and babies to pull for me. Go fucking pull for Roman Reigns if you're having such a big problem with it. And you know that he would, but they're not going to let him do that because that's. Imagine how fucking much nuclear. At this point in time, I've given up on the fact that wrestlers nowadays can't get heat. Not like they used to. It's just impossible. You have villains you like and you have villains you don't like. And he's a villain that people do like. So he could get nuclear heat on him by saying that. But if he says that, people like me or near and be like, how fucking cool was that? Like, that was awesome. So I've given up on the whole being like, he's not a true heel because he doesn't get heat. Well, your idea of a heel died in 98. It doesn't exist anymore. You'll never find somebody.
Cheers, Vince. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, it's just not existent anymore. You have heels you like and heels you don't like. It's just, but whatever. I'm so scared. And Kevin Owens is my favorite wrestler in the entire world. If they put this fucking belt back on Roman Reigns, there's a good chance, and I'm being completely honest with you, and I know this probably makes me a shitty reviewer. If they take the belt off of Owens and put it on Roman Reigns Sunday night, I'll probably take a break from Raw for a long time. I'll just stop watching it because that's poor planning. He's my favorite wrestler. They're signing Roman Reigns' death warrant, and it's clear that they have no fucking direction.
You know what? Take your mind back to last year. And it was when the title became vacant, and it was 2015 in the winter, or the fall, as you American imbeciles call it. And you had Roman Reigns versus Cesaro in a fucking phenomenal TV match. An absolute out-of-this-world TV match. If you don't remember or wasn't a fan back then, type it in on YouTube, Cesaro versus Reigns. What if they have Cesaro win the Rumble and challenge Reigns? Okay, because now, listen to me. They got 2 world titles. You can have 1 world title, AJ Cena. Okay, that's your big money star match.
Because that's what's going to happen. We know we're getting.
Gonna happen. Yeah. That's just common knowledge. Cena, AJ. Okay, and then you have, on the other hand, you have the mid-card guy making that leap, like back in the day when Benoit won the Rumble. He made that leap to main event status. You can do Cesaro making that leap to the main event status against Roman Reigns. Okay, then you got Roman Reigns, who Vince then feels is the megastar, against Cesaro. Cesaro can beat Reigns after the match, after a great 5-star match. Cesaro picks him up, shakes his hand, then Reigns, boom, Superman punches Cesaro, the new champion. Reigns gets heat beyond anything. This is Mania. That's Cesaro's one moment. He'll never get that moment again. And Reigns crushed it. And he can go on and say, oh, look, I crushed his moment, just like I'm going to crush all your heroes. And he can go through all the indie guys. He can go through Zayn, who can get Zayn over. You can go through Kevin Owens again, get him over. Go through some of the 205 Live guys to get them over. I just see that as money. If Reigns wins and Cesaro wins the Rumble, I'll forgive him. But I do not want to see Cesaro and Sheamus win those tag belts. If that happens, done.
Yeah. If those 2 things happen, there's a good chance a great story can come out of this. The likelihood of those 2 things happening are slim at best.
I mean, you could do the same exact story with Sami Zayn. You know, Reigns like, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, I'm the man. Who are you? You barely lasted 10 minutes of Braun Strowman. Like, you could just go on and on. Like, either if Sami Zayn or Cesaro doesn't win the Rumble, Vince should be ashamed of himself. Purely ashamed, because that's two mega stars he's got in his grasp. He doesn't connect with the audience. The reason Vince isn't pushing them is because they're independent wrestlers. Vince hates independent wrestlers. Unless you're an NFL player or a Samoan with a cock, he isn't interested in you. He likes his pure. Like, Baron Corbin will get a push because the fact he was an NFL player. If he was an indie guy, he probably wouldn't even be employed. It's like weird. Like, Vince is the opposite to like hardcore fans. Hardcore fans like love the indie guys because they love the grind, they love the hustle of all that. Vince hates that. He likes his own guys, the NFL players, the Samoans, shit like that. And, you know, if Reigns does win, like, I will be pissed because it's poor business. But if it leads to good business to build another star in the process, I'll be fine with it.
But they're just not going to do that. Like, I will forgive them, but it's not going to fucking happen. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to say it. If Roman Reigns beats Kevin Owens for the belt, I'm going to take at least until Mania off of Raw. And I'm sorry. And I know that's being me shitty because it's me being a shitty Kevin Owens fan. But there's a lot more to it than that. It is just awful, awful decision-making.
Agreed. I'll get some live comments now. We actually haven't some. There was some. Tranthony Cumiel speaking foreign. Apologise, I'm not multilingual. Rennie Soms, but hey guys, is anyone feeling that the Charlotte and Sasha feud is getting repetitive now? Oh my God.
Rewind it like 15 minutes and listen to what we said, and then yes.
He said that. He said that about 15 minutes ago, so it's probably when we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Ronnie Soms then puts, do you guys feel 205 Live is pointless as I do? When you have 3-hour Raw, then the Cruiserweights are going to be on regardless. That's true. You know,
I think they just need to completely move the Cruiserweights to 205 and then have the pay-per-view matches for 205 on Raw.
Like when ECW was back in the day, they had pay-per-view matches as well as their own weekly show. Leonard Matthias says, May Dick. Okay.
Okay.
MA Cod 114. Yep, make history. Don't tell us, make it. That's a good show.
Exactly.
Rooney Soms, brash yourself, LK. I read the Vince is going to have his hand on the writing staff forwards until WrestleMania 33. MA Cod 114. Where is Nia Jax? That's a great shout. What's that?
Yeah, fucking getting ignored on the main roster.
Rennie Soms, this card for Armageddon feels like a typical Monday Night Raw card. It's uneventful at best. I mean, it looks good on paper. It's just, who gives a fuck?
The only match I'm worried about is the main event, only because I'm scared they're going to take the belt off of Owens. Whereas I see more money you can make by keeping it on Owens.
You're not looking forward to that, though, are you? You're dreading
it. No, I'm scared. I'm fucking scared.
You'll be like, you'll be there like under the table, like, is it over yet?
Like Sunday. You know, I've been on my diet. I've been trying to lose a little weight, and Sunday's my cheat day. If Kevin Owens loses, I'm getting blitzkrieg drunk. Like a bad NFL fan.
LK, Sammy, what were both of your thoughts on last night's episode of Lucha Underground? How did you like the matches and the backstage segments? Rennie Som, sorry to be a cop-out son of a bitch. We already reviewed Lucha Underground. Well, I didn't. Sammy and Booms already reviewed Lucha Underground. Actually, did you review Lucha Underground?
I did not get to do Lucha Underground.
Oh, okay. Apologies. We can give our thoughts. We will not be cop-outs. Okay, I loved Lucha Underground. I loved the Snake Gang. I love that spider.
Luchasaurus. That was fucking awesome.
It was just brilliant. Another great episode of Lucha Underground. And next Wednesday, after Lucha Underground goes off the air, me, Booms, and Sammy will have a special guest on Krista Joseph, co-executive producer of Lucha Underground and former WWE creative team member from 2004 to 2010. Randy Savage says, dig it. I am the cream of the crop.
Hold on, Randy Savage? Like the Macho Man Randy Savage? Randall Poffo? Holy shit, that's amazing. Fuck the guest next week. We've got the ghost of Macho Man Randy Savage.
Don't fuck the guest next week. So last week we had Kurt Angle, okay, on the show. Well, not on the show, in the comments. This week we have Macho Man. I reckon someone's ribbing us here. I reckon this might be Rey Mysterio disguising himself.
I hope it is, man. I hope next week we have Stone Cold.
Dude, Rey Mysterio joined me for the Total Divas recap. Of course, he was there. He did lots of fuck, marry, kill, and spank. You missed it. Rennie Som says, last one. With all three of you guys be present when the producer, Chris D. Joseph, will be on next week. Yes, it will be me, Sammy, and Boom. So we're excited for that. It's going to be good times. Randy Savage, I exist on a telepathic, hyperkinetic cholesterol plane.
Celestial.
Yeah, I'm not dead, dig it? And then he says, the picture of him is really fucking funny as well. It's his eyes really wide open. Then he says, I think WWE needs to sign Eli Drake. Great mic worker. And I read reports on that a couple of days ago that WWE was interested in signing Eli Drake. I'm a huge fan of Eli Drake, as you guys know. I've put him over on every single TNA review. I just think that he's really come into his own in TNA, and I think he should just wait there, maybe get a world title under his belt, get more over, and then come.
Yeah. I'd wait a little bit before I put the world title on him, but I agreed.
Oh, yeah, I don't mean right now. I mean, like in the future, obviously. That's why I said wait a little bit. So that's it for your Roadblock / Armageddon 2016 preview / predictions video. If you enjoyed this show, like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow with a House of Hardcore review, depending on how tired I am. And maybe me and Sammy will conjure up something, maybe, who knows. Sunday, though, we'll be 100% back with your Roadblock / Armageddon 2016 review. Excited for that. That being said, like, comment, subscribe. Check out all the links in the description box below. From myself and my partner in crime, Sammy, over there. Stay safe, stay well, don't get deleted, because we'll be catching your asses down the line.